Most people think anxiety is a malfunction. They see it as a broken gear in the machinery of the mind. Something to be medicated, suppressed, or meditated away. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He believed that for many of us, anxiety is not a sign that you are falling apart. It is a sign that you are refusing to grow. Carl Jung once said that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But what happens when you are standing on the edge of a major life shift, and instead of excitement, you feel a crushing weight in your chest? This is anxiety before direction. It is the moment when your nervous system panics right before your life is about to change. In Carl Jung's view, the human psyche is like a river. It has a natural flow, a direction it wants to move in. Carl Jung called this process individuation. The journey of becoming the person you were always meant to be. The problem begins when we build a dam. We build these dams out of social expectations. Out of doing what our parents wanted. Out of following what society rewards. We build them out of fear. Fear of failure. Fear of instability. Fear of losing approval. And we build them out of the persona. The mask we wear to survive. When the energy of life, what Carl Jung called libido, hits that dam, it has nowhere to go. So it turns inward. It becomes stagnant, turbulent, and eventually, it becomes anxiety. Carl Jung believed that neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. In other words, we feel the false pain of anxiety because we are avoiding the real pain of becoming who we truly are. When anxiety appears, our instinct is to retreat. We think something must be wrong. We assume we are on the wrong path. Carl Jung observed the opposite. He noticed that the ego, the part of you that says I, is a creature of habit. It values predictability above all else. So when the unconscious senses a new direction, a calling, or a deeper truth, it sends up a signal. The ego experiences that signal as danger. It feels like death. And in a way, it is. Because the old version of you cannot survive the new direction. Carl Jung once treated an intelligent clerk who suffered from severe dizziness and heart palpitations. Every time he walked toward his office, his body rebelled. Doctors found nothing physically wrong. Carl Jung realized the man's psyche was trying to stop him from walking toward a life that was slowly killing his spirit. The anxiety was not the problem. It was the intervention. This clerk was what Carl Jung called a pure eternus, an eternal youth, someone who avoids commitment to preserve freedom. But by avoiding the prison of responsibility, he had created a prison inside his own mind. His anxiety was the pressure of unrealized potential begging to be grounded in reality. So ask yourself, are you anxious because you are sick? Or are you anxious because your soul is trying to turn you around? This brings us to another case Carl Jung described. The man who was too good. He was kind, moral, respected, and secretly tormented. He suffered sudden waves of anxiety and intrusive thoughts that made him feel as if he were losing control. Carl Jung discovered that this man had repressed his shadow, his anger, his ambition, his sexuality. By trying to be only good, he had denied half of his psyche. His anxiety was not a glitch. It was his shadow knocking on the door, demanding integration. Carl Jung told him something radical. You do not need to be good. You need to be whole. Wholeness includes the dark parts of us, the parts we are taught to reject. When this man redirected his repressed energy into assertive and competitive pursuits, his anxiety vanished. The energy did not disappear. It transformed. Anxiety became drive. This is what Carl Jung called enantiodromia, the tendency of suppressed qualities to turn into their opposites. When you suppress strength, it becomes weakness. When you suppress direction, it becomes panic. Carl Jung also described a woman who suffered panic in social situations where she might be seen, called the woman with the red shoes. She was a socialite who suffered from a strange, localized anxiety. She was terrified of any social gathering where she might have to dance or be the center of attention, despite being outwardly charming. Through dream analysis, He discovered her abandoned desire to become an artist. She had sacrificed her creative life to fit into a proper role. Her anxiety was not fear of people. It was a rebellion, a refusal to keep betraying herself. This is anxiety before direction in its purest form. Carl Jung spoke of the daimon, an inner force that pulls you toward your destiny. The daimon does not care about comfort. It does not care about status, money, or approval. It cares only about fulfillment. When ignored, the daimon turns against you. It becomes illness, phobia, restlessness. Modern language calls this disorder. Carl Jung called it meaning. He believed that anxiety in the second half of life is almost always spiritual, not religious in doctrine, but existential in depth. It is the fear of having lived a life that did not belong to you. Carl Jung never asked how to eliminate anxiety. He asked what it was asking for, because symptoms are not enemies. They are messages. If you treat anxiety as an enemy, it will fight you. If you treat it as a messenger, it will eventually deliver its message and leave. Ask it what it is trying to save you from. Ask it what life you are avoiding. Carl Jung taught his patients active imagination, a way to dialogue with the unconscious, not to suppress fear, but to meet it. When anxiety is given a voice, it often reveals itself as a guardian, not trying to destroy you, trying to wake you up. Modern life has lost its myths, its rites of passage. Without initiation, anxiety becomes the ritual. Without meaning, freedom becomes paralysis. Carl Jung lived through world wars and massive social upheaval. He saw that modern humanity had lost its inner map. We have more choices than ever, but no compass to guide them. Carl Jung called this the curse of multiple possibilities. When direction is absent, energy accumulates. And when energy has nowhere to go, it turns into anxiety. But Carl Jung's message was never despair. It was hope. Anxiety proves there is energy. A dead system does not protest. If you feel anxiety, something in you wants to live. The question is not how to silence it. The question is where to direct it. Carl Jung believed the self emerges when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. This is the moment many people find themselves in now. Anxiety is not a sickness. It is a summons. A signal that your old map no longer works. Your homework for tonight is simple. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write what makes you anxious right now. Be specific. Not money, but the fear of wasting your life for money. Not health, but the fear of neglecting your body and your inner life. On the right side, ask yourself one question. If I were 10% more courageous, what action would this anxiety be pushing me to take? That answer is your direction. That is Ariadne's thread. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That choice is usually made in the heat of anxiety. You are not losing your mind. You are finding your soul. The path forward is often through the very thing you want to avoid. In filth, it is found. Every great journey begins with a moment of terror. Embrace yours. Thank you for being here with me. Take care of your heart. And may love always guide your path. I'll see you in the next one.